The Gunners about to come out at this ground for the last time before they upgrade from this stylish, but in today's terms small, stately home of football to luxury accommodation nearby. Most significantly, much larger accommodation, their brand new 60,000-seater Emirates Stadium. Of course, they've upped sticks before, most notably when they came here to North London from south of the river way back in 1913, and then they trod painfully on the toes of Tottenham Hotspur, invading their territory, if you like. And now, with Wigan here and West Ham at Upton Park involved, the two North London neighbours are jostling for fourth place, the chance to play in the Champions League that comes with it. And how extraordinary that Spurs, if you missed the earlier news, tried to get their game called off today because of illness in the camp. But it does go ahead, and we'll show you the relevant moments from Upton Park. But the focus here is on the Gunners, who need a better result than Tottenham's at West Ham. If they get it, then fourth spot is theirs. Some minor pyrotechnics and a guard of honour, but Arsenal have their grander plans for the 90 minutes after the match. Arsene Wenger, as you might expect, wanting the pre-game formula to be as routine as possible. Brian Marwood, you'd go along with that, I'm sure. Yeah, very much so. I mean, it's the business side until the celebrations come after this game. They know how important a win here is today. Obviously, they're relying on what happens at Upton Park, but they need to make sure that they do their part of the job right, and they're very focused. The manager is extremely focused, and they've had a terrific run of late, man. Well, Jason Roberts was the man who spoilt an Arsenal party here in January. They were on the verge of qualifying for the final of the Carling Cup, but Wigan got it instead with that late Roberts goal. And Paul Jewell, a little bit miffed, the Wigan manager. Not been too much mentioned about, well, maybe Wigan will have a say in who finishes fourth. It's the final Highbury pre-game salute. The heroes and the hero worshippers. Well, wonderful new accommodation does await them. So the sentimentality here, make no mistake about that, because this is the final Arsenal 11 at Highbury. Their three substitutes who changed the face of Thursday's match at Manchester City all start. Two-goal Jose Antonio Reyes plus Cesc Fabregas and Robert Pires. Ljungberg, Van Persie and Song are the players replaced. And Dennis Bergkamp is included on the bench and may make what, of course, would be his last Premiership appearance after 11 seasons in North London. Well, I think we touched on it already, Martin. It's about putting the emotion surrounding today to one side and just carry on showing the fantastic form they're in at the moment. I think it's another good opportunity for Sol Campbell and Ashley Cole to gain match sharpness. And I think for Sol in particular, he might just have an interesting afternoon ahead of him against the pace and the power of the Wigan front two. But the one player you feel could make a very special contribution is a very special player, Thierry Henry. I think this day is made for him. Well, Wigan are without the suspended Gary Teale and the Fulham-bound Jimmy Bullard. And Paul Jewell describes his selection based really on Hobson's choice. But one interesting inclusion, Reto Ziegler, the number 23, because he's still technically a Spurs player on loan at Wigan, of course, but he can help the Tottenham cause by helping Wigan here. Paul Scharner replaces Stefan Anchot at the back, probably with extra pace in mind, as you say, Brian, with Henry around. Well, can they spoil the party? And that's what Paul would have been saying to this group of players in the dressing room moments earlier. Big ask, though, for his team. Certainly surprised everybody this season. Well organised, keep things very simple. And as I've already mentioned, a front two that can give any defence in the Premier League a chasing. I think you feel, though, the goalkeeper and the back four are going to have to play very, very well this afternoon if they're going to take anything out of today. But whatever happens, I think this team, this squad, have earned everyone's respect this season. I was there, T-shirts handed out to all the spectators today. including the Arsenal chairman, Peter Hillwood, is talking there to Tord Grip, of course, of the England setup. And also including a batch of blue to the Wigan fans. Special day for them, special season for all connected with Wigan Athletic. Let's not forget that. In the match to come, there is still talk that it might be Thierry Henry's last Premiership game. He has the chance to finish with the Golden Boot for 4 seasons in 5. It's amazing. Arsenal have been playing here almost 20 years before Wigan was even founded. They've been playing here 65 years before Wigan even came into the Football League. Yet the history books will show that the Gunners' last Highbury opponents in both the League Cup and the Premier League are indeed Wigan Athletic. Arsenal in the red currant shirts. The colour worn in their first season at Highbury, recreated for this, their final season. And a massive commercial success, incidentally. A pitch that is perfect for the occasion. But there's a match to be played. And Wigan, I'm sure, determined to let everybody know that there are 2 teams to talk about here. Chimbonda's header, Kavanagh. Jackson, who's played more over the second half of the season. We were talking before the game, his last Premiership goal was on a final day of the season 13 years ago when he was an Everton player. Kavanagh.
He's had to come in and do a job, hasn't he, Matt Jackson, recently? I mean, Arian Dezou's a massive miss, you feel, for Wigan Athletic. You know, he organises things well. He's the leader there. A tremendous attitude. In fact, you'd probably say that he's probably one of the best signings of the season, given the amount that he cost.
A touch from Chimbonda, voted by the players the best right back in the league this season. Great compliment. And Leighton Baines kind of been too far down the order as a left back. He's been terrific in his first taste of football at this level. Here's Lehmann. He's had so many plaudits. Kleb. Fabregas. Foul by Shana on Henry. The referee is Uriah Rennie, who I'm sure will relish the appointment on a day that none of us here will ever forget. Shana. And Ashley Cole, for him, another match on the comeback trail. Likewise, Sol Campbell. Adue's been playing very regularly and very well. Kleb. Baines. Henry Cameron didn't play in the Carling Cup semi-final here at Highbury. He was away on African Nations Cup duty.
He did very well, didn't he? I mean, Paul Gill was screaming at him moments early because he wanted to get him in the corners on the right-hand side. I'll tell you what, just have a look at that fella. If anybody thinks that we're going to just come here to join in the party, just have a look at the emotion he's showing at the moment. He wants his side to give a good account of themselves, and they've got a decent chance here.
Arsenal have themed every match day here this season. It's goals day today, but largely they hope to honour home goals. And it's David Thompson. In the first match at Highbury, Brian, it was the away team who scored first in 1913. That was Leicester City.
Well, they're a bit sleepy here. Look at the wall. Took them an awful long time to react. As Kleb and Fabregas, they just have a little natter with each other. No one really reacts from the short free kick between Thompson and Ziegler. He was outstanding last week, Thompson, against Portsmouth. Probably the end of the season has come too soon for him. Really just trying to get into a rhythm.
Chimbonda. There's nothing players like more than a sense of occasion for a match, and that goes to the Wigan players here as well. Kleb. Murray has a look and is frustrated because the flag didn't go up straight away.
Well, that's his new rule, isn't it? That the referee's assistant, certainly on this near side, can't put his flag up until that player becomes active. The ball took an awful long time to reach Thierry Henry.
Kavanagh has the pot shot from the Wigan midfield, where his partner today, centre midfield too, is the player who's owned by Tottenham Hotspur, Reto Ziegler, probably going to go back to Spurs next season, at least for the start of it. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, you just wonder whether there's a little twist for us this afternoon, but that's one area of the field that Paul Jewell does need to strengthen in the summer. Of course, massive miss losing Jimmy Bullard to Fulham. And not just as much about his playing ability, but what he brings to the dressing room.
It's McCulloch who's caught Eboué. We're 10 days away from Arsenal meeting Barcelona in Paris. Any injury will come into that context.
He just got sold short, didn't he, with the pass, Eboué. I'm sure that there's concern on the Arsenal bench, the fact that Lauren has got this long-term injury. Eboué has been such a plus coming into this side and settling very well in at right back.
Arsenal, of course, will make club history if they win the Champions League. Never before being beyond the quarter-finals. Chimbonda. A lot of interest in him from clubs even higher up the table than Wigan. Thompson making camera chase, but he'll not catch that one.
Well, we talked at the very top, they're a very lively front two, and if the likes of Thompson can get on the ball and they give them decent supply. I saw Arsenal at Sunderland on Monday, and while it was very comfortable for them for a majority of the game, Sol Campbell in particular still didn't look up to the mark as far as match sharpness is concerned, and that's understandable.
Reyes, who turned the game back Arsenal's way in Manchester on Thursday, when Campbell in truth did play a lot better.
It's the first time we've seen the front two really make a mark on this Wigan back four. A good break from Reyes. There's a decent block in the end from Jackson.
Reyes has come back into the starting lineup as the supporting striker.
There's one thing that this Arsenal side will do, especially on this right-hand side, because they're so quick, is to push up and allow some space in behind, and that just might give Camara some encouragement to think that he can play there and get some joy.
Put out by Chimbonda. Quick throw for Arsenal from Reyes. Henry, Kleb. Henry. Goalkeeper started to come and thought better of it. Probably was a wise decision because Kleb was in full pursuit. It's a corner for the Gunners.
A little play, wasn't it, from Henry? You just get the feeling with him today that there's something up the sleeve that he will produce, and you'll think, crikey, there's another magical moment.
It's been his stadium, hasn't it? 134 goals in 170 appearances on this pitch. Good responsibility shown by Thompson. It was only dropped back to the corner taker, Reyes. Campbell heads it down. Perez! Arsenal score inside 8 minutes. Robert Perez in there to poach.
Well, they just don't clear their lines, do they, Wigan? And I think it's probably David Thompson that might have just stayed in when 3 or 4 other Wigan players trying to clear their lines, and Robert Perez just making a nuisance of himself in front of the goalkeeper. But have a look here of the Wigan defenders and how they react when the ball finally comes out to Fabregas. There's 1 or 2 that come out, and David Thompson is a player that stays in, and Sol Campbell's header is just really pushed in front of him by Mike Pollard, and he isn't going to miss that. Into double figures before today's game, and there's talk about this fella leaving the club, but you know when you get the likes of 11, 12 goals from midfield. He's one that you probably think you want to try and keep.
Goals day at Highbury, and one for Arsenal in the 8th minute.
Actually, the ironic thing is, Martin, when the corner came in, it was Thompson's header, the one player, 5'4", 5'5", that won the header. Something happened at Upton Park, do you think?
There's a bit of a hand-off there. The crowd are celebrating 2 goals by 2 London teams. And neither of the teams are Tottenham Hotspur. Because West Ham are in front at Upton Park.
A decent strike, wasn't it? Well, they wanted one big party, didn't they, here at Highbury? And one part of the party is perhaps a celebration of Arsenal's home victory. But can it be a double celebration? Can West Ham do them a big favour?
Carl Fletcher, the scorer. Thompson takes, and it's a goal here by Shana, who marked his Wigan debut by scoring against the Gunners up in the northwest earlier this year. Extraordinary.
Well, that's a terrific free kick because he's got a lot of pace on. I just think that it might have been Thierry Henry at the near post that just seems to let this ball drift past his body. And Shana just takes a gamble. Gets himself between Henry and the goalkeeper, and it's the easiest of tasks to turn the ball into the back of the net. But I think the skipper should have dealt with that. It's a good free kick because it's got pace on it.
Pires, not really putting too much pace on his path. But Wigan have found the path to level it up, and Shana, who certainly looks a man for the big occasion, scored now twice against Arsenal. He's also scored against Manchester United. He's primarily a defender.
Should never have got that far, Martin. You know, take nothing away from the quality of the free kick, but you know that's why you have players in the positions of either near post, middle of the goal, or far post. You know, you're there to deal with things.
Camera. Henry dumbers it for Cole. Tried to play it on first time for Pires. Chimbonda in the way. Poorly played by Lehmann. Campbell. Here's Henry. Some pressing matters here. So Pires here for Arsenal, Fletcher for West Ham across at Upton Park, Shana for Wigan back at Highbury.
Well, they say you're at your most vulnerable after you've scored, and that's certainly happened with Arsenal, hasn't it? I mean,
no, I think it's different here, Brian. They're most vulnerable when Spurs have conceded. Oh, there was a real party atmosphere in the ground, wasn't it? If the players were a little bit distracted.
Well, I talked about the passion shown by Paul Joel so early in the game. You know, he was out in the technical area, remonstrating with one or two of his players, urging them to get forward. You know, his side have not come here to make the numbers up. And given that equaliser, there's a real belief from Wigan.
Lehmann. Put out by McCulloch, but it will run for Henry. That might spell problems for Wigan. Reyes trying to take up a position. He looks for his great pal, Robbie Pires. Henry, and then Mike Pollock can come out and claim it. Pollock's had some adventures in this stadium, including saving a penalty and being sent off. Thompson to Camera, the back heel for Roberts. Comes out to Ziegler, player on loan from Spurs, remember. Game's very spread, and that could hurt Wigan. Reyes. A simple square ball, it seemed, for Henry.
Couldn't find the crucial pass, could he? And Chimbonda had just followed the run of Pires, which left a lot of space in behind the Wigan right back, and Reyes tried to exploit that. There's one thing about Chimbonda. He's impressed everybody with these performances this season for Wigan, but he does at times defensively go walkabout, and he can be dragged out of position. Very attack-minded player, loves to get forward, but there's also another part of his game he needs to concentrate on, and against a side like Arsenal, you really have to have your wits about it.
Jackson. Ziegler. Not quite with his wits about him. Fabregas. Gilberto. Pires. Henry leaves it for Cole. Whereas he's got to check through the centre, he'd run offside.
Again, very, very nearly a moment of magic from Thierry Henry. Hasn't quite found his range and the feel for this game yet.
There's a run on here by Roberts. He's giving Campbell some problems. Uriah Rennie was a little bit away from it, maybe 25 yards away. There's an exaggerated look at it.
He's furious, Jason Roberts. He felt he should have had a penalty. Well, Matt Jackson's just chipping away at the referee, because exactly what the feeling of the centre-back was. Because as Jason Roberts ran away from Sol Campbell, he was always stretching. He doesn't look as if he gets anything of the ball there, Sol Campbell. Well, the referee had a very good look at it. He feels he made the right decision, but Sol Campbell, as I said earlier, Martin, he was very, very much off the pace at Sunderland on Monday. Played better against Manchester City, but certainly got caught out with the pace and the power of Jason Roberts. And no wonder the Wigan camp are furious.
If I remember rightly, there were some claims here in the Carling Cup semi-final as well. It all ended okay on the night for Wigan in the end, through Roberts, who did give Campbell a pretty torrid evening then. Jason Roberts, one of the most improved players in the Premiership this season. Fabregas. Plays with such self-belief now. Man who's captaining Wigan today.
And sometimes that comes about with the goals that you get, and he's got 14 this season, which is a good return for him.
And of those 14, the most memorable would have been the one here.
Yeah.
Because it turned defeat into victory by the away goals rule, although some of the Wigan players didn't understand that.
See what the Wigan manager thinks at the moment, because he's the latest person from the Wigan camp just to have a go at the referee about that penalty claim. No matter which way you look at it, I don't think Sol Campbell gets anything of the ball. He seems to get an awful lot of Jason Roberts.
And Arsenal are pressed back again. It's a Ziegler free kick to come. It's a deep one, looking for Chimbonda around the back, and McCulloch as well. See the idea, because two players might have made something of it. McCulloch standing no nonsense to Mabua, who's chasing after him, but I think just to mark him. Here comes Henry. Arsenal had the lead once here and lost it. Going to get a penalty there.
He wasn't going to give the one at the other end. Mr. Rennie certainly wasn't going to give that one.
It might be a foul though by Jackson. He's got to be careful. He has been blocked. And in goes Pires.
What a chance. What a chance that was from Robert Pires. Fabulous little ball from Reyes. And they really will look to exploit you in behind Arsenal. Henry just walking back into an onside position, but the Wigan defenders weren't aware of the run of Robert Pires. Well, with his quality and ability, you really would have expected him to convert that opportunity. This was a claim from the penalty. I think Reyes goes to ground very, very quickly, but this was the crucial one. This is where Wigan felt they had a massive claim for a penalty. You see there, Sol Campbell gets nothing of the ball. There's no real reason for Jason Roberts to go to ground in a situations like that, because he's just about to pull the trigger.
Kavanagh. Don't lose sight of the main focus for Arsenal Football Club today. Historic day though it is, with the move away from Highbury. They have to win this game. They must assume that even though Tottenham are trailing at Upton Park, even though they're beset by illness and one or two injuries as well, they've still put out a pretty strong side. And that they have the capacity and certainly the incentive to turn things round. Wigan have already hit back against the Gunners and look capable of doing more.
Well, they do, and I think that this is a typical Wigan performance, full of spirit but well organised. Take nothing away from what Paul Jewell has done to this squad, and in the main it's been this group of players that have served him so well during the course of the season. I mean, they haven't really got the biggest of squads, but he's made full use of what he has had at his disposal, Paul, and done terrifically well.
He hasn't got a fit second goalkeeper, so Pollock's got to see it through here. Bates. Pollock's penalty save was from Reyes during the match here in January. His sending off on this ground was when he played for Rotherham, also in a League Cup title, and Reyes has sneaked in behind Jackson, who wasn't expecting to find him there. The offside flag does go up. It wouldn't have counted for Henry.
Well, it's unselfish play from Reyes. I just can't understand why he doesn't shift that onto his left foot and strike on goal himself. It was careless play, wasn't it, from Kavanagh? And he's just looking for his strike partner, Thierry Henry. But, you know, the fact that Reyes is more than capable of scoring from that position.
He got away from Henry to equalise for Wigan. Made sure that Henry didn't get away from him. Glanced on by McCulloch. McCulloch again. Thompson. Here's Cole. 7 months out. It's a great sight for England as well as Arsenal to see him on the run. And Ashley Cole's still going until Uriah Rennie blows against him.
Just missing that little extra burst of pace, really. Ashley Cole, which will only come from the more games he's played. He just really needed that little bit extra to take him in behind Shauna. It's encouraging to see him not only just back in this Arsenal side, but foraging forward on that left-hand side.
Well, Lee Dixon would appreciate that. He's one of around 80 former players here who will be paraded to the fans in the after-match ceremony, which you will be able to follow totally with us. We'll let you know how that's available for you later on.
Well, he allowed play to go on. The referee, there's almost a handoff by Reyes in the end against Kavanagh. He won't be very happy when he realises that the free kick has gone to Arsenal.
And a busy first quarter of the match on this final day of the 2005-2006 Barclays Premiership season. Gilberto.
They've done very well, haven't they, Wigan? And the fact that it's been quite easy As a lot of sides have done here at Highbury over the last few seasons, just to cave in when you concede that early goal. But they got straight back into this football match with a good delivery from David Thompson and some bright play from Shawnee. And since then they've certainly grown in confidence and belief, which is very important when you come to Highbury. You think you're ever going to get anything out of a football match, because they've got such a fantastic record here at Highbury.
Fourth place is, as it stands at the moment, Arsenal's. It can change with the swing of a boot, flick of a head. Cole. Eboué. McCulloch knows the defensive side of his responsibilities as well.
Does that very well, doesn't he, McCulloch? Just sits and protects Leighton Baines. And also very, very decent when he gets forward, especially when he finds himself 1v1 on the far post. Got great heading ability.
Fabregas. Henry. And Baines couldn't wait for Pollitt. He's hurt himself in dealing with the danger.
He just slips, doesn't he, as he makes the clearance. Leighton Baines, I think that's what's probably hurt him in his collision with the goalkeeper. Clever little turn, wasn't it, from Thierry Henry. Just trying to work a little opening for him. Hasn't had too many sighters of goals so far. But you can see here that Baines, as he clears, he just slips. Collision with the goalkeeper. Always heavily watered, this surface, before every Arsenal game.
They do say, Brian, the ground staff here, that the pitch at the Emirates Stadium will be even better. That's hard to believe. But with all the difficulties of rebuilding Wembley, Arsenal just got on with the job of constructing their new base. No suggestions of any major problems. And it may be open in 11 weeks' time. A testimonial game for Dennis Bergkamp is being planned for July the 22nd. The big question is, will Champions League football be on offer there? There's more reaction around Highbury that's, I don't think, quite to console Leighton Baines for getting onto his feet and getting back to appreciate his recovery from injury.
They seem to be getting news, the Arsenal bench, of what seems to be happening at Upton Park. But Arsene Wenger knows it's about what his side do here today. You know, he won't really be overly bothered about the scoreline from West Ham United until at the end of the game.
There.
Until at the end of the game. He's got to concentrate all his energy and thoughts on what happens with his team here.
Here's Fabregas. Arsenal's task is to sort this match out, and it's not an easy one. Gilberto. Henry. Gilberto!
A half chance, nothing more. Clever play from Henry. It was very, very tight when the ball was played into the Arsenal skipper. But he's always able to come up with something a little bit special. Look at that, so tight, and Gilberto doesn't have any time really to think about this. He has to take it very quickly. Certainly not renowned from his goal-scoring skills.
Leighton Baines is back on. And we needed another ball from the sidelines. Might be a few souvenirs taken from this fixture. Terrific header by Kolo Touré. Finally got his first Highbury goal. It's a crucial one, wasn't it, this? The goal would eventually settle the semi-final against Villarreal in the Champions League.
He's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, Kolo Touré? I remember his first few appearances for Arsenal playing as a right winger. And you look now that he's been converted into a successful and dominant centre-back.
Roberts, who really is brimming with confidence against Campbell. Chimbonda. Shana. Arsenal trying to hold their defensive line, and Henri Camara trying to work off Kolo Touré's shoulder and to make that tactic. An unwise one for the home side. Fabregas, given his challenge. Hard player to dispossess, the young Spaniard, who was 19 on Thursday. As his fellow countryman Reyes, who got 2 goals on Thursday. Perez, who scored here.
Good defending again, Martin. Talked about the organisational skills of Wigan at the back.
Arsenal are troubled by Roberts again. Camera, who's at full match fitness, just got there ahead of Cole, who's not.
And those front two are a real handful. You know, don't be surprised if we can get the ball forward early and try and test maybe 1 or 2 weaknesses in this Arsenal defence, and its weakness is about really lack of match sharpness they have at the moment through Campbell and Cole on that left-hand side.
Thompson is coming back in an offside position. Martin Yerby pointing to where the free kick should be taken. Fabregas. Henry Reyes was found. Here's McCulloch trying to get Roberts away. Well read by Lehmann.
Good defending from Touré as well. You know, could have been quite easy for the centre-back just to step up and maybe try and play him offside, but he knew he'd probably take a big risk if he was to do that, so he went shoulder to shoulder with Jason Roberts. And that is a battle, by the way, because they're both very powerful, these two.
And here is Roberts. Not giving quite as much change out of Colo Touré as he did against Sol Campbell a couple of minutes ago.
Well, we've talked, and rightly so, about the improvements in Jason Roberts' game, but this young man has gone on leaps and bounds over the course of the last 2 seasons. Really has developed into a fantastic defender, and a one that you feel is going to serve Arsenal very, very well over the forthcoming years.
Chimbonda. Cut long by Shana. It's a more easy piece of work for Campbell. And Matt Jackson misjudges the bounce. Helped on by Henry. Now Reyes. Chimbonda's the defender. Again, Rennie's saying no penalty.
Sometimes, you know, players' reputations go against them, and that's 2 occasions that Reyes has fallen too easily to the ground for my liking, to try and win penalties. Wigan players are certainly not happy, and again, you know, Chimbonda goes to sleep, and it's just that little space in behind him that Reyes is looking to exploit, but far too easy really the way that Reyes goes down here. Not an awful lot of contact.
Uriah Rennie in the end did produce the card for Fabregas. Thompson's come across to take another free kick here. Shana's lurking again.
More difficult angle though, this one.
He's gone for goal, he's done it! Jens Lehmann totally deceived by David Thompson. And it's Arsenal 1, Wigan 2. The German goalkeeper took an exaggerated position, and Thompson had the technique and the talent to make the most of that.
Well, he's had a big hand in both goals, hasn't he, David Thompson? And I said it was a difficult angle. Now, it's a difficult angle if you're going to go and cross it. Maybe not a difficult angle if you're going to shoot. And Jens Lehmann's thinking, probably like most people in this ground, that David Thompson is going to put this ball round about the penalty spot, and he's thinking, I might just have to come and deal with this. Instead, he gets surprised, and he gets surprised in a big way. It's a fantastic free kick.
I remember, was it Frank Kudru of Middlesbrough in that famous 5-3 game, doing something not dissimilar. And Arsenal fans are in uproar again, but again Uri Rennie lets the game go on, and I think Paul Jewell will be feeling that Wigan deserve this.
Yeah.
There should have been a penalty earlier, but 2 free kicks involving David Thompson.
Well, they've had more than their fair share of the spoils, Martin, haven't they? You know, we talked about the confidence they gained from that first goal, but you know, everywhere you look, they've done very well defensively, nice and solid and organised midfield. They've stuck to their task, and certainly, and we've said time and time again, the front 2 have been a real handful.
It's Henry, he's in, it's 2-2, and Henry on the last day at Highbury, the ground that's been lit up by his performances. It would be inappropriate if he wasn't in on the act, but this was much needed by Arsenal, much needed.
Well, all that hard work undone. You know, they've battled, they've worked, they've really stuck at their task, but look at the back 4, the shape of the back 4, and Henry spots an opening, gets himself between the 2 centre-backs, and I have to say the outcome is inevitable, and that's a goal, because when he gets in this situation, how many times do you see him score? He's ruthless, he's efficient, and you knew today he would score.
He always scores. Arsene Wenger says when we play at home, we just expect it. But as Arsenal level here, the news is not all good for their supporters, because it's level at Upton Park as well.
What did you say? Goals day here at Highbury? They haven't disappointed, have they?
4 and 35 minutes. Eboué. And Arsenal can't let it finish this way. They've got to go for more. They have to better Tottenham's final scoreline at Upton Park. It's a perplexing afternoon for Arsene Wenger.
Well, it was just short of 2 minutes between the Wigan second goal and the Arsenal equaliser, and it was round about the same time when we got Wigan's equaliser to Arsenal's opening goal. So great responses from both sides when they've been a goal behind.
Arsenal led 1-0. Wigan equalised, and then this fella outrageously put Wigan 2-1 up, and then Henry was the hitman at Highbury again. How they're going to cope with the delivery. And what Thompson's going to do now, Arsenal. It's a miss hit from David Thompson, and there's possibly a counter-attack on here until Thompson gets in the way of Henry's attempted ball for Reyes. By the way, in its own right, this is already a classic. Forget what's happening at Upton Park.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I would say forget what's happening anywhere else but Highbury at the moment, because anything can happen. And here's Eboué. Absolutely anything. Pires follows up. In goes Fleb. And look at Thompson not panicking.
Got a problem, Martin. Eboué got a problem. Well, it's very adventurous play from the right back, and he's more than capable of doing this, Eboué. Good pace, good power, loves to get forward, join in.
Well, this is what happened just a minute or so ago. West Ham were leading, and Tottenham digging deep. All the kerfuffle before the game about who was healthy and who was not. Jermaine Defoe looks in full working order. That's a Tottenham equaliser. And as it stands, with both sides drawing, it's still going Spurs away in the fight for 4th place. Reyes. An only run this time, and he's apologising for not making it.
It's unlike him. It really is.
the great stories of this season. Wigan Athletic. Stepping up to Premiership action as if they've been there for years and years and years. Baines. And it's little Thompson challenging Big Lehman.
Oh, here we go. How many times have we seen this?
Rolled out by a relatively unruffled German goalkeeper to Pires.
The two managers getting involved in a little bit of a spat at the moment, by the looks of things, over that far side.
Forward by Kavanagh. Roberts wants to have a go at Campbell again. Camera. Let's run for Roberts. Only Abue tipped it to the feet of Gilberto. Pires needed it, played straight away, would have been in the clear too.
Thierry Henry's furious. He wanted that ball playing in behind. There was a lot of space. He was bitterly frustrated with Robert Pires. Just have a look at the space in behind there. They leave themselves very, very exposed, Wigan.
Well, Abue is in the wars a lot here today. This is at least the third time Gary Lewin has been on to attend to him. Let's hear from our touchline man, Jeff Shreves. Jeff, what have you got to tell us?
It looks fairly convivial between the two managers at the moment, and when Jose Antonio Reyes went down for that penalty appeal, in all honesty, Paul Jewell turned around to the Arsenal bench and said, to be fair, lads, that's a penalty as well.
As well as Jason Roberts.
Well, I'm surprised, actually, because I didn't see an awful lot of contact being made, but maybe their view of it was better than ours, but we talked about Reyes' reputation maybe going against him.
Kavanagh. Thompson, late, Toure.
It's quite a collision, wasn't it? Looks as if Toure is the player that's come off the worst in the incident between him and David Thompson. He certainly catches him, doesn't he? Thompson might try his luck from here.
Depends where Lehman is, I guess.
Yeah, maybe he won't get caught out this time. The Arsenal goalkeeper, well, to be fair, it's a lot straighter than the one that he was beaten with from Thompson.
David Thompson, who was good enough a couple of years ago to be in a couple of England squads. Actually got a senior cap. Lehman staying pretty central. Thompson eyeing up the angles. This time the goalkeeper is able to deal with it.
Well, all you can do, and all anybody would ask you to do, is work the goalkeeper. That's exactly what David Thompson did. I spoke to him the other week, Martin. He's a bit disappointed with his performances in a Wigan shirt. He feels that he hasn't really got anywhere near what he's capable of doing, but certainly against Portsmouth last week, he was outstanding. And he started well here today.
Abue, Pires, Fabregas. Arsenal trying to work teams around in these circumstances. Reyes, Fachleb, Gilberto, Abue. Got past Baines, but showed too much of it to Jackson. Pires, Kavanagh for Thompson, who just put too much on that. There was an opportunity actually to drop it for Camera, maybe to gallop after.
You feel this is a big couple of minutes really for Wigan. The fact if they can go in at half-time knowing that they've got a draw, will give them some belief to come out in the second half and go on from there. But if they were to concede one, then it would psychologically have a big effect probably on Paul Jewell's team.
And I said at the start, Brian, he was a bit miffed that none of the newspapers really had said, well, hang on, one little scenario today. What about Paul Jewell's Wigan putting a spanner in the works at Highbury? Well, that's exactly what Paul Jewell's Wigan are doing.
Well, their form hasn't been great, it's fair to say, from Christmas onwards, but they've actually picked up 27 points away from home, which is a fantastic achievement.
Well, they've got a corner, Wigan, as we go towards added time before half-time, and Arsenal have struggled with the Wigan restarts. It's all around the goalkeeper. And Rennie saw something, probably just as the ball was struck. Thought Graham Poll protected Jens Lehmann capably on Thursday. But what a first half it's been. This game will live long in the memory, of course, because of the finality as far as Highbury is concerned, but it will also live in the memory of the incidents of play.
Well, the game hasn't let down the occasion, has it? I think everybody was hoping that it would be a good game here to mark the farewell of this fantastic stadium. Well, we've certainly had that, and let's hope the second half is equally as good, because we've seen some terrific football, some good goals.
Here's Camera. Help from McCulloch, but he's turned Fabregas. Here's Hleb. It looks as though he's scored the last Arsenal goal at the clock end. But Arsenal will need more when they attack the north stand part of the stadium in the second half. Unless, of course, Tottenham lose. They're drawing at Upton Park as we speak. And it is half-time there. Well, the occasion has enhanced the game. Robert Pires with a goal in the 8th minute seemed to set the right note for such a historic day. But Paul Scharner equalised from a David Thompson free kick. Thompson then scored extraordinarily himself, catching out Jens Lehmann from distance. But you can't rule out Henry at Highbury. It is a day of sentimentality, but it's also a day of high-octane football as well. Paul Jewell's team have ensured that and pressed Arsenal all the way. 45 minutes left, Paul, of your first Premiership season. You'll be very proud of it. And as you all know, 45 minutes left of football in this stately home, where Arsenal have always tried to do things the right way, the Arsenal way they call it. I'm sure, Brian, when you were a player here, you heard that expression a few times.
I think you very quickly are aware of the tradition and the values of this football club when you walk through the main entrance, Martin, and that never leaves you.
So in London, it's level at Upton Park between West Ham and Tottenham, and here at Highbury between Arsenal and Wigan Athletic. More drama, you feel, on the way. When Uriah Rennie is Uriah ready, which he is now. Toure. Leighton Baines with the header. Reyes. Oh, and Henry not sure.
Well, I think probably one of the reasons why he got a little bit of encouragement there was the position of Leighton Baines. I think Thierry Henry felt that he'd get himself between the two fullbacks, and well, sometimes, you know, you stick your arm up in the air as a defender. It's amazing how much you get the benefit of the doubt, and I think they're a little bit fortunate there, Wigan. I think Baines and Chimbonda certainly are a little bit slow coming out and joining the two centre-backs, Jackson and Sharna.
Oh, he's already taken his tally to 31 goals for Arsenal this season, 25 in the Premiership. Another golden boot presentation on the way, you would think. Particularly with Ruud van Nistelrooy not involved for Manchester United today. Sharna. And the camera got a foot to it. Lehmann was starting to advance.
He made an early decision, didn't he, the Arsenal goalkeeper, to come and have a little nibble at this, and Touré's just trapped the run. It probably could have been quite easy for him just to step up and maybe think the camera might have got caught offside, but Lehmann was a little unsure as well, so between them, didn't really deal with it that effectively.
Arsenal have won 13 of their 18 league games here this season. Have lost, of course, to Chelsea and to West Ham. Tonight, Sol Campbell was taken off at half-time and knocked out of the ground. And, such was his disappointment. He's back here playing, hoping that Arsenal can defend with a bit more assurance than they did in the first half. Cole. Now trying to peel away behind Sharna.
It's a good idea, but he didn't really have an angle. Always very patient, aren't they, about their football, Arsenal? Just look to build a slow momentum, and then just seem to reject that little bit of pace that undoes a lot of sides in this Premier League.
Touré. Always behind Jackson. He's often pointed out that this is one of the smaller playing areas in the Premiership, and that in some ways it's remarkable that Arsenal play as they have done here under Arsene Wenger, and the way Henry in particular has somehow found room where there seems to be so little. Camera. And Pires gets in there to sort it out with the type of tackle that he's not really renowned for. Thompson. To Camera. Held off Gilberto. Found Roberts. Finds McCulloch. Good football again from Wigan.
Well, terrific football. I think if everybody was looking at Arsenal playing this move, you would be applauding it. Well, take nothing away from the football that Wigan have played here this afternoon, because they really have got into a good flow, good momentum, and they really have given Arsenal a difficult time here this afternoon. Dealt with things admirably at the back at times, Wigan. Gone with two banks of four, made it difficult for Arsenal to break them down, so space has been a premium, and then they've just said to the front two, you just get on with things. We'll give you a decent service, but we know you've got the capabilities of troubling Arsenal. That's exactly what they've done.
Fabregas. Really taken down by Baines. Finally, it's not a cool day. It's taken a while coming, the sunshine. And from the land of the sunshine, Jose Antonio Reyes. This time his challenge on Pascal Chimbonda. McCulloch gets the drop on Eboué in the air. Camera with a very lively piece of play, typical of his work with Wigan Athletic this season.
Well, this is always a threat because McCulloch is so dominant in situations like this. They use him on a lot of occasions, and they very nearly got their rewards. Henry Camara reacts the quickest and gets in front of the goalkeeper. He's always still got an awful lot to do, and that's probably always worked against him there. But once again, another example of the ambition that Wigan have come to Highbury with here this afternoon.
Here's Roberts. It might just run for him, but Ashley Cole, as the crowd again react to incidents at Upton Park. McCulloch. Down goes Sleb. And we've got news of a penalty at Upton Park, taken against the England goalkeeper Paul Robinson by the former Tottenham player Teddy Sheringham. And West Ham are denied the chance to go back in front.
Always had a soft spot, Teddy, hasn't he, for Spurs?
Robinson recognised the way to go. It's a great save. Here comes Camera. It's a great display here by Wigan. The Spurs fans, if they look back on this game, obviously focusing on the news from Upton Park, but they can have no complaints about how Arsene Wenger's team are having to work to get the win that they want, primarily to push on for fourth place this season. Not even thinking about leaving Highbury with the right result. It's the significance of victory in the context of this season that's uppermost in everyone's minds here at Highbury at the moment. And it's Jackson. What is so wonderful about English football, and why, Brian, these games get beamed and sold all around the world, is the sheer of it.
Well, I think
we've got Wigan with nothing to play for, really, coming here and playing as if they were the team fighting to get something from the final game.
No, I think Paul Jewell, I think everybody associated with Wigan, you know, wouldn't want anybody to patronise them. They've got into the Premier League by their own right, and they've stayed in the Premier League by their own rights because they've been absolutely phenomenal this season. You know, everybody's tipped really to be relegated, but you know, they haven't been far off qualifying for a place for the UEFA Cup. That's such an outstanding season, of course, getting the Carling Cup as well, and the performance here today has been tremendous so far.
They really haven't got into their stride at all in the second half, but maybe they will do now. Reyes, Gilberto, Wigan back in numbers. And Shana, his header only drops for Henry. Shana retrieves it with a clean winning of the ball.
Yeah, I think that was good defending from Shana.
The Austrian who gave away a penalty playing for his country against England in the World Cup qualifiers, was absolutely sure that he wasn't going to be penalised here.
Well, he's done very well here because he reacts twice, one with the header and then to make the challenge against Thierry Henry. He's a formidable player, Paul Shana, very powerful, very strong. It wasn't Arsenal a team he supported as a boy?
It's hardly shown it since he's been a player with Wigan, has it?
Yeah. He scored, didn't he, against early in the season?
Yeah, in his first match for Wigan, that first leg of the League Cup semi-final. He played his part in the Wigan going through and scoring here. Thompson. They come out to Ziegler and then McCulloch.
Well, there's been a feud between those two from minute one, hasn't there? Abui and McCulloch. And the Wigan players just winding the Arsenal youngster up a little bit, and I think the youngster's got involved in things that he needs to just keep his composure. You just get a sense that these Arsenal fans now, you know, start of the afternoon with in party mood, but they're getting a little bit frustrated. You know, news coming through from Upton Park that Spurs have got an equaliser, and then Teddy Sheringham has missed the penalty. And they know at the moment things are not going their way on the pitch here against Wigan.
And as it stands, it will be Spurs finishing fourth. Whether that means a Champions League qualifying chance, of course, depends on what Arsenal do. The ultimate of footballing, Aaron, is and it's what Wigan do here. Henry skip round. Pollett's Thierry Henry puts Arsenal 3-2 in front. And when you needed something to go for you, that has happened. Well, it's a gift, but one gratefully taken.
Well, David Thompson has had such an impact on this game from a Wigan point of view. But now he's just had a big impact from an Arsenal point of view, because it's his back pass that really drops his side in the mire. And I said in the first half, when Henry gets 1v1 against the goalkeeper, his ratio for chances to goals is absolutely phenomenal, and he's shown once more what an adept finisher he is in situations like this. You wouldn't want anybody better. 1v1 for the goalkeeper. So calm, so composed, and such a dynamic finisher. And I said that this was a special day, and it's about special moments from special players. Well, he's had two special moments, and I just wonder whether there's more to come.
26th league goal this season, 32 in all competitions for Arsenal, and on the Highbury counter, 136 on this very ground.
So far, when goals have gone in, there's been a quick response. Wright is just about staying awake, isn't he?
He's lost count of the Henry goals anyway. But Ian Wright's record that Henry is absolutely obliterated, really. But here is Ziegler, and out comes Lehmann. He's read it well, very well.
Good decision from the goalkeeper, and it was a big decision, you know, because he could quite easily have been caught out. Again, Arsenal leaving a bit of space in behind. Encouragement for Henry Cameron and Jason Roberts to run into. That time it was Ziegler just breaking free from midfield.
As it stands, it has gone back Arsenal's way, courtesy of Henry's goal, courtesy of David Thompson's mistake, after Thompson, more than any other Wigan player, has been responsible really for the fight that Arsenal have had to face in this game. Chimbonda hesitating. Reyes.
Oh, was that deliberate? Was that deliberate? Well, what's the referee thinking? Does he think that it's an offside? No, it isn't. He's misinterpreted what the linesman was signalling to him. Well, this is a big moment probably as far as Wigan's chances are concerned, because if that is a deliberate handball from Matt Jackson, and probably that's what the referee is about to be told, or whether is he saying that there was an offside. He can't quite make his mind up at the moment, Mr. Rennie.
Martin Yerby pointed as if it was a free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, and I think what Mr. Rennie's doing at the moment is saying, stay well away from me and my assistant, because I need to make a big decision here, but I need the right information. And what's he going to tell him? If he's saying that Jackson made a deliberate handball, then I fear the worst for the Wigan centre-back.
I think Wigan fear the worst.
Well, he's given a free kick to Arsenal. Now, what's he going to do to Matt Jackson?
If anything.
It was very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate.
Arsene Wenger knew what was going on and what he expected to follow.
Well, this is a big moment, isn't it, for Arsenal and for Wigan. Well, they were claiming for a handball. The linesman certainly said that he spotted a handball from Matt Jackson. Nowhere near his hand. Nowhere near. Yeah, he's saying it hit my head.
So the free kick is extraordinarily harsh and quite a long way wide.
I'll tell you what would have been even harsher if he'd been sent off. Well, no damage done. Yeah, that's what he's saying. And hit my head.
Half an hour to go.
Well, we can certainly confirm Matt Jackson. His head, but Paul Jewell now. What sort of response can he get from his side? Been absolutely magnificent during the course of the season. One final effort. Can they get back into this football match?
And will Thierry Henry, with his sense of theatre, end his Highbury days with a hat-trick? At the moment, he's just rolling it wide to Webb. And he's past Ziegler. On to Reyes. Henry again. Kleb. No foul. Shana taking it a little back across into trouble. Arsenal get the throw. Another goal and you feel they will get the win. They still have to wait in conjunction with what's happening at Upton Park. See whether that will be enough. Henry. Pires. Cole. Back for Robert Pires. And Fabregas thought he'd headed in Arsenal's fourth. And Wigan were able to scrape it clear.
There's a real strut and arrogance about Arsenal at the moment, Martin. They want to close out this game, and Fabregas had an opportunity to do that. I'm not sure or convinced that he gets a clean header on this, you know. And Pires does very well as they work this opening on this left-hand side, and he waits an awful long time. He puts the ball back into the box, and there, the header from Fabregas certainly not got the power required to beat the Wigan goalkeeper. And finally get scrambled away to safety, but really Wigan are having to defend in great numbers.
After that, Reyes brought down. Henry takes over Campbell. He collected here by Pires. Toure. Camera gets to this. It's a great flick. Ziegler, though, just played it a little bit blind, a little bit too strong. There's a real electricity to the atmosphere here.
You hate to think from Arsenal's point of view that probably the Premiership's point of view as well, Martin, that Thierry Henry might leave in the summer. You know,
what's your take on it, Brian? What are you hearing?
It's taken an awful long time, and you know there's a feeling, a big feeling, that he will leave the club in the summer.
Pires. Reyes. He saw Henry, but actually Henry had checked. He was a bit concerned about going offside.
He just held his run, didn't he, Thierry Henry? They're playing with a swagger at the moment, aren't they, Arsenal, which is very difficult for any side in the country to defend against. And Wigan, manfully as you would expect, working very hard. And I think looks like Paul Jewell is going to try and freshen things up.
Kleb. Here goes Henry. Well, now there was a challenge by Baines. The ball stayed in play. And some Arsenal fans yelling for yet another penalty appeal. Fabregas. Still not to the final nub of this, but a two-goal Arsenal lead, and that might finally quell the considerable Wigan resistance here today.
Well, they're just hurting them with possession at the moment, Arsenal. And Wigan are looking very tired. It's very difficult when you're tired just to keep that strength of mind
Perez putting himself through. Out comes Pollett. He doesn't know where the ball is. Henry does. Perez in the middle. And Chimbonda gets back.
Well, I just wonder whether Wigan are going to deny this fella a hat-trick, because I said at the top, it's a special day and he's a special player, and he would have wanted to mark this occasion with something special. Well, he's got 2 goals and he wants a hat-trick. He's desperate for a 3rd goal. Don't be bothering taking corners, Thierry. Just get in the box.
Reto Ziegler comes off and is probably heading from Wigan back to Tottenham. He's replaced by Damien Francis, who was in the team at the start of the season, the side that's really set down a few markers, showed what Wigan was about, but has lost his place over the last 3 or 4 months. Here comes the corner, and smashed away by Kavanagh.
Probably nearly ended up in the Emirates Stadium.
Went out of the ground via what we call the squirrel exit. That's the part that the animal left in the Champions League semi-final, having had a good 20 minutes of Champions League experience on the pitch, by the way. That's Henry wanting to come up with here. We're at the 3/4 mark of the match. The man guarding that area by the front post, Graham Kavanagh, defends well again. Reyes.
Just haven't been able to find anything going forward, have they, at the moment, Wigan? Past 10 minutes have just been incessant Arsenal attacks, and Jason Roberts and Henry Camara getting more and more isolated.
Arsenal were 1-0 up, then they were 2-1 down, and then along came Thierry Henry. McCulloch, heavy with the touch. Francis wins it back, certainly one of his strengths. Thompson has had a real mixed bag. He's actually been involved in the 2 Wigan goals, but of course involved in 2 of the 3 that Wigan have conceded. Chimbonda. In towards Camara and Roberts. Kavanagh to Camara.
It was a terrific ball in, wasn't it, from David Thompson. Just desperate for any sort of response at the moment, Wigan.
Kleb. Here's Eboué. For Kleb. Sharma's across to get to him and to the ball. Reyes on the stronger side. Well, it's gone for David Thompson. It's quite a brave header. Roberts again, imposing himself. Chimbonda. Thompson having a go at Ashley Cole.
A bit frustrating for him, David Thompson. He's getting a wee bit tired. He hasn't played an awful lot of football this season. He's been plagued with injuries.
Well, I know the Arsenal fans would love to see a cameo of Dennis Bergkamp on this of all days, but there's a result to be got from Arsene Wenger's point of view. Chana.
It's been nice and comfortable, hasn't it? Ashley Cole, encouraging sight for England fans.
Sometimes Reyes isn't quite on the wavelength of Perez and Henry.
Is there many people ever on the same wavelength as Thierry Henry? He plays on another level, Martin.
Just a reminder again that it's 1-1, and as it stands, Tottenham have to score again at Upton Park to deny Arsenal 4th place.
It's been a tremendous response, isn't it, for Arsenal? And they've won 7 of the last 10 in the league, and probably going into the Champions League final in a fantastic form, exactly the form that they want to be going into a major final.
But it's not in the bag yet here, but if they do win, 9 points in the last week of the season. Chimbonda. And a fluid to Roberts. Kavanagh. Now Thompson. Well, Paul Jewell's players rousing themselves again. Chris Hutchings is checking with the manager in case he's got to go through the formality of another change.
Looks as if it's probably Johansson. Might just get the nod.
Reyes with a nod of his own. Are we working on the right this time? Gilberto has given it away to Roberts. He's not been bashful when it's come to taking the ball at the Arsenal back line. Clem. Here's Henry. It's fair to say Jackson really couldn't get out of the way.
He's had a good look at it, hasn't he, the referee? Matt Jackson being involved in 1 or 2 incidents in this second period, and well, could he have got out of the way? Maybe so. But, he has a good look at it, doesn't he, Matt Jackson? He knows that he's in massive trouble because Henry just pushed the ball in behind him.
Well, after a very eventful 73 minutes, David Thompson is going off to be replaced by Andreas Johansson, who scored a couple of goals last time he played in North London at White Hart Lane. Well, it is a change for Arsene Wenger. Is this goodbye to football in England for Robert Pires? Still to decide whether he will accept a 1-year deal. Freddie Ljungberg to come on, having shown glimpses of his best form when he finally got only his 2nd goal of the season at City of Manchester Stadium on Thursday in what was his 300th match for the club. That's Campbell. Henry, Ljungberg, penalty! Freddie Ljungberg hasn't touched the ball, but he's on the ground. And that's worked out well for Arsenal, and Thierry Henry has a penalty to take here.
Well, it was 2 substitutes, 2 players who've just come on. They get caught up with each other, and Johansson against Freddie Ljungberg. Has he held him back? Certainly looks as if he had, and the referee has the perfect view, and he points to the spot straight away, and that's Johansson and Ljungberg's first contribution to the game.
Arsenal haven't had a penalty since the one Reyes missed or was saved by Pollitt here in the Carling Cup semi-final 2nd leg.
Has he sent him off?
I think he has.
Well, he hasn't touched the ball, has he? Andreas Johansson. Well,
seen as the man who prevented a goal-scoring opportunity.
I suppose by the rule book, the referee will always say that he had to make that decision, but it just makes a nonsense and a mockery of the rules. You know, the punishment was the penalty, and that is enough, really. And Paul Jewell just sent Andreas Johansson on the field.
Whatever Thierry Henry achieves, his name will be forever associated with Highbury. And on the last day here, he has a hat-trick. The king of Highbury.
There's all his teammates to join him at the moment, and they know it's a special moment. And I'm not surprised he kissed the ground in celebration, because he's worshipped by these Arsenal fans. And you can see most weeks the reasons why he's worshipped. And we've talked about it already. It's absolutely unthinkable that this man may well leave Arsenal Football Club, because he's a massive presence.
And no one's happier for him than the guy whose records he's broken here. It's his 9th Arsenal hat-trick. The great man for the great occasion. Now will a 4-2 lead mean 4th place? Let's get back from the Highbury story to the Premiership story.
Well, I said at the very top, you know, this day was made for him. You know, it's not just about special occasions for Thierry Henry, because he does it week in, week out. He's such a special player. He's so difficult to deal with. I mean, I was at the Stadium Lights on Monday. We got a standing ovation every time he went to take a corner from the Sunderland fans. And I gather that was very much the same at the City of Manchester Stadium as well. So it's not just the Arsenal fans that recognise what a brilliant player he is. Every fan up and down the country know exactly what he's brought to this Premiership.
It's his name that they are chanting.
You asked before whether you thought that he would stay, or I just think that it's important that, great if they win the Champions League, great they're going to a new stadium, but for him, he wants to be involved in winning trophies every year. And he'll want to know in his mind whether this team, this squad, can compete against Chelsea and Manchester United and Liverpool. And I think if he thinks that and he knows that, and that maybe will be dictated in the transfer market in the summer with whoever Arsene Wenger brings into this football club, because I still think they need 2 or 3 top quality players, and if that happens, I think he'll stay. But if they don't do that, my feeling is he might just leave.
But if they finish 4th today, Arsenal, and they are qualified for the Champions League, why can't Henry come out and say what he's going to do? Anyway, here comes Bergkamp. That's another part of the day. It's getting better and better for Arsenal, because the applause for Dennis Bergkamp has got even more intense, because West Ham have gone 2-1 up against Tottenham at Upton Park through Yossi Benayoun.
I think Dennis thinks he knows he's popular here, but he didn't think he would be that popular when he walked on. Just standing ovation, and it's all smiles at the moment. It's all going Arsenal's way at Highbury and at Upton Park.
And Percy is on as well, so it's double Dutch for Arsene Wenger for the last 11 minutes. Dennis Bergkamp, who will be 37 next Wednesday, and we'll be hoping the Wednesday after that he plays in the Champions League. What a way to sign off. Plays in the final. Of course, it's only in Paris. You can get a train there. Ljungberg. Cole. Henry. It's a sea of red and white, and Arsenal will be red and white at the Emirates Stadium. In their current kit for one season only. Henry, clever. One foot to the other. Chimbonda. Into the last 10 minutes. Well, so far, Arsenal could hardly have scripted it better. 3 points looking pretty certain now. Henry has bestrode the game. And here's Ljungberg. Hit that well too.
A decent chance. He's always going to shift this onto his right foot.
And this was what the Arsenal fans were dancing to. The second West Ham goal, and picking his way through to score, the Israeli international Yossi Benayoun. And as it stands, Arsenal have the edge over Tottenham. And here again, it is about this game, but the rivalry between Tottenham and Spurs all goes down to the last move that Arsenal made as far as grounds were concerned. They crossed the river. They were a South London team. Yeah. They shouldn't have been here. It's been handed down from generation to generation through the Tottenham mythology. No wonder they are anti-Arsenal. Bergkamp.
This could be a long 10 minutes or so for these Wigan players at the moment, Martin. They've lost that belief that they carried for so long in this game, Paul Jewell's team.
David Connolly for Henri Camara. Wigan with 10 men, remember. And David Connolly will hope to last a bit longer than Andreas Johansson. Eight minutes left. Cole. Just on that sending off. Again, you said, Brian, at the time that your irony certainly entitled to enforce the letter of the law, but not all referees do it.
Well, you would hope at times, Martin, especially in a situation like this, you know, they'd use their discretion wisely, and I just don't think that's happened.
Bergkamp. The frustration for Baines. Picked off by Sharna, who can turn defence into counter-attack. He was picked actually to play one game as a central striker. Home to Liverpool.
Well, talking to legends, the great man himself, Charlie George, enjoying every moment of this.
He could hit him.
Oh, he could celebrate as well.
Well, you hardly need any words from Brian and myself. The atmosphere is saying it all here. They really wanted to sign off in style, Arsenal. And grudging Leighton Baines not allowing Dennis Bergkamp. Arsenal fans will be greedy for a Bergkamp goal.
Well, it was Dennis Bergkamp day the other week, wasn't he, when he came up with a spectacular trademark Bergkamp goal when he bent one into the top corner. But this is a wonderful scene, Martin. You know, I don't know whether this is coming through on the TV sets up and down the country, but they're full of colour, full of verve, great vocals. You know, Wigan fans have really entered into the spirit of things as well. It's been a very special day.
And the Wigan team pushed Arsenal all the way, made them dig into their deepest reserves, make Henri turn potential disaster into a historic afternoon of triumph. Remember, they were 2-1 down just before half-time, and he started his own personal crusade to get Arsenal the right result here.
Well, it's been one-way traffic, hasn't it, for the last 20 minutes or so, and he's led the way, the skipper. You probably expect him to. But very disillusioned at times this season when things were going against Arsenal, especially away from Highbury, but at the moment it's very much going the way of this Arsenal side.
Ashley Cole not picked up, he came late. And they were fighting for the right to round it off then. And, Gilberto and Kolo Touré
It's not often they've been sloppy, Wigan, but they certainly were. And allowing Ashley Cole all that time and room on the edge of the box, and that's got Chimbonda. It's always going to be very difficult when you've got the likes of Campbell and Toure steaming in at the far post. Well, how much has he brought to this football club? You know, you go back in time and there's a host of fantastic managers. And now you've got somebody like this man in charge at the helm.
264 Highbury games, just 26 defeats.
It's a terrific record, and he's rebuilding, isn't he? You know, they had a period this season where they were losing games and everybody felt, are these youngsters up to the task? Well, they really have matured fantastically well, and they're giving some wonderful, consistent performances at the latter end of the season. The likes of Abui and Fabregas. You know, Reyes still only 21. Senderos, you know, you can go right through the card.
And can't go right through the team because Wigan resisting manfully, and you feel it's about right now. But, another Arsenal goal would be a bit cruel on Jewell and his players. The sentiment comes at the final whistle. Robin van Persie, let alone Dennis Bergkamp, will be wanting to leave a lasting memory on this ground. And it's Van Persie to Bergkamp. A little bit of self-indulgence maybe, and I'm sure everyone will forgive him that.
Not too many players out there on the football field that could come up with something as special as this. It's almost Dennis Bergkamp trademark, isn't it? And he'd be bitterly disappointed, you know, that he hasn't got closer. Always has a picture in his mind, and that's what's made him such a brilliant player over the years.
Well, the brain will always be razor sharp. It's just when the legs start to go a little bit, and Arsene Wenger needs players with pace. He only ever wants players with pace. I think you have to have been at Bergkamp to have stayed in Wenger's thoughts for as long as he has done.
Well, I think it's three things. I think it's pace, it's power, and it's ability. Well, Dennis might not have the pace, and he might not have the power, but he certainly makes up for it in ability.
A class act. Fabregas. Van Persie, Gilberto, Pollock comes out. Gilberto loses his footing. Bergkamp, oh.
That's a big
chance. I was shouting his name before Gilberto saw him.
That's a big chance.
Bergkamp.
Yeah, big chance. Fabulous run from midfield. Certainly eludes the offside trap. Unfortunately for him, just loses his foot, and then he can't pick out Dennis Bergkamp.
Campbell. They're still playing at Upton Park. But Tottenham need two. Pretty much the perfect day, Brian.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. I mean, they want to come here and celebrate the result. You know, everybody's more than aware that there's going to be huge celebrations afterwards, but they needed to be professional. They need to make sure that they got the right result here, and then waited to see what happened at Upton Park.
Is there going to be one more Arsenal goal? Connolly. Francis, it came at an awkward height. You know, Brian, the first game here was decided by a penalty in 1913. And it may well be that the last Arsenal goal at Highbury will be from the spot. We're into added time. It was Archie Devine, 93 years ago. I don't suppose too many of you have heard of him. You will all have heard of the Arsenal penalty taker on this day. Eboué. Highbury, 1913 to 2006. Arsenal's 2010th game on this ground. A few lows, but so many highs. Oh, and the referee wasn't watching. He was looking the other way. I think his thoughts were maybe on what's going to happen at the final whistle. It's about two stadiums where they're going to, but for the next 90 minutes or so, it's where they're coming from. And what they have done on the last football match at Highbury, the ground that they had to rent from the ecclesiastical commissioners. And now they've produced a footballing god of their own, Arsenal, and Thierry Henry, who will make all the headlines when the final whistle does go.
Certainly a lot of people come to worship them, that's for sure.
His last job in the stadium that's been so good to him, but how good has he been to Arsenal Football Club? And that is it. Football is finished at Highbury for all time. And it's finished with a Thierry Henry hat-trick that has turned a 2-1 deficit into a 4-2 win. After 93 years, Arsenal say farewell in the grand manner. A million memories, and he's been responsible for so many. But the final one is of a victory. These celebrations here can only be about winning the game, but now they turn into the final whistle at Upton Park. A dismal Martin Jol. Been a lot going on with Tottenham today. They tried to have that match called off, of course. Arsenal got on with their job here. And what will it mean for the future of Thierry Henry? Arsenal will play at the Emirates Stadium in the Champions League. They might go straight to the group stage, of course. Beating Barcelona will do that. They will definitely, if they lose the final in Paris, have the qualifying round.
That's actually
and that was the bottom line for Arsene Wenger.
David Dein, of course, who's highly instrumental in bringing this man to the football club, and what a huge success Arsene Wenger has been in his time at the helm, and he's also seen a lot of great moments on this football field. He's experienced huge joy, and I tell you what, he's enjoying every moment of it now as well.
Arsene, it was always going to be an emotional day. Did you expect it to be that nerve-wracking?
No, not really, because Wigan gave us a hard time, and we had a nervy last week because we knew going into this week with 2 away games that we couldn't afford to drop 1 point, you know, and therefore, of course, it was very important game to game to put it to the last game, and we knew last game is a nervy one, but overall, I feel we did what we had to do.
For a while, did you think you were going to shoot yourselves in the foot?
Well, I always felt that we had enough resources to score goals, and I felt at half-time we could take over in the second half. We will keep the nerves, you know. But this team is amazing. They have an unbelievable character. They go forward always, and I feel they are growing so much that, and they want it so much that it is really the future is very good for the club.
To continue that growth, how much do you need to keep their captain?
Well, he has shown again this week how valuable he is for the club. I believe that on my side there is no doubt, and I believe he's at the choice of his career, of course. You can understand that he wonders what he wants to do. My advice would certainly not be objective, but I believe that he has something special here with the team growing like it is, respect we get here, that I will encourage him highly to stay.
Colo, Ash, Thierry, and also Gilberto as well. Was that the perfect send-off for Highbury?
I think it was, and one thing I wanted to say is that I was watching the game, Tottenham-Bolton, and the commentator on TV was saying that we were watching. Yes, we were watching, but you have to sing at the end of the league. And only thing I can say is that no one now can say they didn't deserve, we did deserve, or whatever. We are fourth, and we're going to play the final of the Champions League. So like that, it's clear.
No doubt, all doubt removed. Ashley, what was it like today, especially when you scored and straight away Wigan equalised?
I think it was a little bit disappointing, of course, because we heard the cheers from the fans when I think Tottenham went 1-0 down, and we had the buzz, and then of course they equalised, which put us down a bit. But as I said, the lads never give up, like all season, and we've come out worthy winners and deserved the full spot.
Colo, it was a very special day. What was it like playing in it?
Yeah, it was fantastic, you know, because when we came on the pitch and we saw the fans in white and red, the feeling was fantastic, and I think that we played a great game tonight, this afternoon, and we are quite happy.
Gilberto, what does it mean to know that you'll be playing Champions League football in the new stadium next season?
It's very important for us. This season has been completely different for us, you know, because the last couple of seasons we were playing for the title. This was different, but we gave our best, you know, to reach the fourth place. We did so well, and we deserve, you know, the fourth place at the end. Because we show that on the pitch all the time. We want to take this place.
A hat-trick for you, top scorer in the Premier League, and you kissed the turf. Was there anything symbolic in that? Was that a kiss goodbye?
Yes, a kiss goodbye to the stadium, I think.
Was it a kiss goodbye to the club?
To the stadium. I think you know that everyone knows that we won't play here anymore, so that was a kiss goodbye to the stadium. But one thing I wanted to say again is that we finished fourth, but we're not in the Champions League yet. You have to play those qualification round, and then we can get there. But as Gilberto said, when Tottenham won against Bolton, people were already writing us off, you know, because we had to go at Sunderland, we had to go at Man City 1-1. You know, we scored 2 late goals. It wasn't an easy game, but I think a lot of people is going to say, you know, deserve or don't deserve. But like I will say, you know, at the end of 38 games, the table doesn't lie. So, you know, Chelsea is a worthy champion. Man United and Liverpool, you know, did battle to try to make them lose the title. And we battle all the way, and at the end we're there. I think all the lads deserve that. One thing I wanted to say also is that, you know, we've been missing so many players during the season. It hasn't been an easy season for us, and we did it the hard way. Well, it's not what we usually do because we finished fourth, but important for the club.
Time has run out.